Hi friends. So in this video series we are discussing about the sectors of Indian economy. So today we are going to discuss how can we create more employment in rural area, in semi-rural area and in urban areas. Okay. So if we'll talk about rural areas, government should provide loans to the small and marginal farmers. If they will get loan, then they will be able to do agriculture in a better way. As you know, most of the person in rural area they are doing agriculture. Now come to the semi-rural areas. In semi-rural areas, the location and promotion of industries should be happen in a proper way. For example, suppose in an area people are doing sugar cane, the cultivation of sugar cane, then government should provide facilities how they will be able to sell their sugar cane to the sugar factory owners. Or in an area suppose people are collecting honey, government should establish honey collecting center in those area. So what should happen, location and promotion of industry is important in semi rural areas. According to the Niti Aayog, if you'll see the report of Niti Aayog, then we can understand that 20 lakhs of jobs can be created in education sector only. So like this, so many person can get job as doctors, health workers, nurses, etc. So in health sector, in health sector, so more schools and hospital should be opened. If more schools and hospital will be opened, then definitely so many people will be employed. According to Planning Commission, 35 lakhs people can get employment in tourism sector. Did you understand? So government should take steps for the promotion of tourism service. And government has also taken steps to provide 100 days of the work in a year in rural areas under the scheme of MGNREGA. MGNREGA means what? Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. And it came in the year 2005. If government fails in its duty, then it will give employment allowances to the people. So in this way, we can create more employment. Now we will see the sectors as organized and unorganized sector. Organized sector means what? Organized sector, they follow the government guidelines and workers enjoy different kinds of security. Employment, secure employment they are getting. Working hour is fixed. If they are working more, then they are getting extra money for that. They are getting benefits like paid leave, payment during holidays, provident fund, then gratuity, etc. are provided to the workers of organized sector. Workers are also getting different facilities like clean drinking water and safe environment. They are also getting retirement benefit or pension. But if we'll see the workers in the unorganized sector, they are not getting these benefits. Their job is insecure. There is no paid leave for them. There is no extra wages for overtime. No payment during holidays. They are working in a very bad working environment. Working environment is not good. No work, no pay system is following in the unorganized sector. Okay, and no retirement benefit for them. Unorganized sector also don't follow any rules and regulation made by the government. Daily laborers, temporary workers, etc. are coming under unorganized sector. So did you understand? Organized sector and unorganized sector. Organized sector, their workers, they are getting different kinds of benefits, but whereas unorganized sector workers, they are not getting these benefits. Now, question arises in our mind, how can we protect these workers? The workers, those who are working in the unorganized sectors, how can we protect them? So since 1990, okay, so since 1990, so many persons, they are losing their jobs in organized sectors. Organized sectors are working in unorganized sector. Those who are losing their jobs in organized sectors, they are coming to work in the unorganized sector. Why? Because they have no other alternatives. But in unorganized sector, their job is not secure. So what government should do in order to protect? In rural areas, we can see small farmers. They need to support it. They need support through timely delivery of seeds, agricultural inputs, credit, storage facilities, etc. In urban areas, we can see small scale industries also needs government support for procuring raw materials and marketing output, etc. Strict laws should be made to protect the workers of unorganized sector. There should be proper facilities for those who work as street vendors, makers, rag pickers, etc. Timely help is needed for the workers of unorganized sector. So, did you all understand? So, these steps should be taken not only by the government but also by the private organization, NGO, okay, and anybody. They should help the workers, those who are working in the unorganized sector, because they are working in a very bad condition. Now we can see the division of sector into public and private sector. When we are talking about public sector means what? This public sector, they are owned by government or its agencies. Did you understand? Government sector, they work for the national development and welfare of the people. For what they work? They work for the national development and welfare of the people. Example we can take like railway service, postal service, and other essential services given by government. So these are coming under public sector. Now private sector, when we are talking about private sector, they are owned by a individual or group of individuals. Did you understand? And what is their main motive? Their main motive is to earn more and more profit. So they work for profit making, not for the national development. And if we want to get service from them, we have to pay more amount. Okay, more amount, you have to pay more money. If you have money, then only you can get best private service. Example, we can take different industries, Reliance industry, Tata industry, Bajaj Motors, different industries are there. Those are private sector. So but some services are there which should be provided by government only. Then only it will be better for the welfare of the society. If every service question, most of the time question comes that why every services cannot be provided by private sector, because the services like making of road, basic health service, education service, okay, to provide clean drinking water in semi urban and urban areas, railway service, this should be provided by government only. Did you understand? Because why? Because it cannot be possible for the private sector to invest a large amount of money on all these basic services. Private sector, they cannot invest large amount of money. First thing. Second thing, if they are investing also, they will charge more, which the poor household cannot be afford. Okay, if they are investing, they will charge more money. Poor household cannot afford. If every services will be private, poor household, they will not be able to get the service. We can take the example of to provide drinking water or to provide water in the urban areas. In urban areas, most of the people that dependent upon government service to get water. You think if this service will be provided by the private sector, then what will happen? Those who are using more much water, okay, how much money they will be paid? You think one time. Okay, some people are there now. Summer season is going on and they are using so much water for bathing. Can they pay more money if it will be provided by the private sector? Did you understand? So poor household cannot. If road making, now you can take the example of road making. If private sector they will make road for us, then like mobile recharge we have to pay money every month for road service. A poor household cannot walk on the road also. So like this in education also, nutrition also, government should spend money. In India, so many children are malnutrition, and in some areas which are most ignored regions of India, in those areas what government is doing, government is providing different kinds of facilities for the public to avoid the malnutrition. So, but it cannot be possible through private organization. So, did you understand what we discussed in this chapter? We discussed about the how can we create more employment, then how what are the organized sector and unorganized sector, how can we protect the workers in the unorganized sectors, and public and private sector, why some services should only be provided by government but not by the private. So with this chapter ends. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment. Thank you all.